Hi everyone, thanks for making the left turn. I had a great time at the Yes on 296 rally here at Memorial Park in Riverside. A great time. Had a chance to meet a lot of different people and enjoyed the speeches. And now I'm going to go ahead and share with you pictures and film of a great day for Jacksonville. Let's hope that the City Council on Wednesday approves the Ordinance 2012-296. Enjoy. Roll it.
And if we have any of our speakers who are not up in this corner right here, if they can move this direction, people who are going to speak. All right? Thank you. Yeah, that'd be...
I'm Jimmy McGett. I'm one of the co-chairs of the Jacksonville Committee for Equality, and you all look beautiful. It's a beautiful, wonderful experience to be out here with all of you. My first job tonight, or this afternoon, is to say a few words about the person who sponsored the bill. Warren Jones, who is a city councilman, as you all know, is someone who I have a few things in common with. We're both from Jacksonville. We both got our political science degrees from UNF. We both ran for election in 2007 to the District 9 City Council seat. But that's about it. Warren first took office as a city councilman in Jacksonville back in 1979. Councilman Jones, Council President Jones, was a person who earned a reputation as a hero in the civil rights movement of Jacksonville. For his first 20 years on the council, and during 2 years as council president, he did things to move our city in incredible new directions with regards to equal opportunity and inclusion for everyone in Jacksonville. And then in 2012, he did something else. Back in February, a few of us from the Committee for Equality, Dan Merkin, Carrie Kidder, and I, happy birthday Carrie, all went to his office on Valentine's Day, as a matter of fact, and asked him if he would be willing to sponsor a bill to bring equal protection to Jacksonville for gays, lesbians, bisexual, and transgender people. He had a reaction that blew us away. He said, "I will absolutely help you with that. And in fact, I can't believe we haven't done it before. The time is now. Let's do this." Yeah! And being a man of action, Councilman Jones did just that. He crafted a bill, he filed the bill with the City Council in May, and after a long summer of deferrals and tropical storms and delays, frankly, we finally have been through the committee process. The bill is teed up. It's ready for council action on Wednesday night, and thanks to Warren Jones and our other allies in the City Council, we are going to pass 2012-296 on Wednesday.
Well, thank you, and it's great to be here tonight with so many friends and people who care deeply about the quality of life in this community. And that's what the Human Rights Ordinance is about. It's about making Jacksonville the very best city it can be. Passing this ordinance will put us on the road to do that. And we're going to do that Wednesday night. You know, an awful lot has been said over these last months and weeks and days about the Human Rights Ordinance, some of which was really moving and powerful, some of which made me very angry. But as a community, to have this conversation, very, very important. To have this conversation out loud and in public and in front of our elected officials was something that was long overdue. And you all have helped make that happen. One of the nights that I remember best is one of the first nights we were before City Council. And people lined up, many of you were there, people lined up, people who had never set foot in City Hall before, lined up to say their piece, to talk from their hearts about why this was so important. And a woman who I had never met before spoke directly before me. And I cannot remember her name, but if I saw her face, I would recognize it. And she walked up to the podium. It was clear she had not been involved in political forums before, but she had on a white doctor's coat and a University of Florida Shands symbol embroidered. Okay, she's here. Well, you were amazing. I wanted, after you spoke, for everyone else to just sit down. Because you spoke from your heart, and you walked to that podium so strong and proud, and you looked at those city council people, those men and women, and you said something like this. I work in the trauma unit at Shands, and I see people at their weakest and most vulnerable points every single day I'm at work. And I pray that none of you is ever in a horrific accident that causes you to be life-flighted to my unit at Shands. But if you are, and you're on a stretcher, wondering if you're going to live or die, and I look down at you, the last thing on your mind will be, who do I sleep with? That's right. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the Human Rights Ordinance isn't about sex. It's about equality and human dignity and a quality of life that this community, that every community deserves. And I'm proud to work with each of you to make that a reality. John Delaney has galvanized the business community in Jacksonville, Florida, to come out and not quietly, but loudly and vigorously call and meet with city council people and make sure that our elected officials understand that this is a community issue and a quality of life issue, and we are forever in his debt for his leadership on this. John Delaney.
My first words were going to be, I never want to follow Audrey Moran on one of these speeches again. You know, a lot of people that have been involved with this have gotten some positive and negative letters, but mostly positive, saying we appreciate your courage for coming out on this. I know the other people that have been working on this would tell you that it's not courageous at all. This is one of the easiest things I've ever done in my life to go ahead and advance this. It takes a little thicker skin than I anticipated, but it hasn't taken any courage. But on Wednesday night, it looks like out of the 19 votes, we need 10, and it looks like we're going to have 10 or 11 votes. And those are indeed some courageous people. And we need to thank them for their courage. Warren at the start has been a champion, and he's helped us strategize on what we needed to do to get this thing through, and I appreciate Jimmy recognizing him. And the last comment I'd like to say is this too. I know many people in this group have been called a lot of names down the years. And on Wednesday night, what we're saying as a community is the name calling's over. And I think what we need to do is to be careful and not do the name calling back. Let's go in, be calm, be thankful, be grateful, be appreciative, and finally we've gotten to where we need to be. And when you walk in your front door, you can celebrate and say whatever you want. But I think we need to convey that we are not like some of the extremists on the other side of the kind of language that they use. God bless you all. We're going to take it over to the finish line.
I'm here tonight in support of 296. I've lived in Jacksonville since September 2010, and as Jimmy has told me, that still makes me a newcomer. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh has some of the most diverse neighborhoods in this country, and some of the luscious parks, like the one we're standing in today. Pittsburgh also has an HRO in place that makes the people, the LGBT community, feel safe and secure in their own city. Jacksonville reminds me a lot of my hometown. It has definitely very many diverse neighborhoods, from Riverside Avenue to downtown to Arlington to the beaches to the south side. It truly has something for everybody. But one thing that this city does lack is protection for the GLBT community. And I hope that comes to an end. No, I don't hope, I know that will come to an end on Wednesday night. You'll finally have the protection that you deserve. I was only supposed to be in Jacksonville for 1 year. After my employment ended, I made the decision to stay in Jacksonville and call it my home. Quite a number of people asked me, why on earth would you want to stay in Jacksonville? They said, why not Orlando? Why not Tampa? Why not West Palm Beach? Why not Miami? So I thought about it, I pondered on it, and I came up with this answer. I love Jacksonville. I call it my home, and I wouldn't want to live anywhere else in Florida. So for Jacksonville to live up to its motto of the bold new city of the South, it needs to join the cities of this state and of this nation in passing 296. On that note, I'd like to introduce the president of Jacksonville Young Democrats and my friend, Joey McKinnon.
It's great to see everybody. Once again, my name is Joey McKinnon. I'm with the Jacksonville Young Democrats, and I am fired up about a yes vote on 296 this Wednesday. I come from a group of young professionals and students, and we've been working hard on reaching out to City Council to share with them the young professional perspective and why that this bill will have a positive impact on young people and business in this city. And I just want to share with you a couple of those points. First off, we have some of the best and brightest young hires homegrown right here in Jacksonville. As a matter of fact, I see many of them in front of me right now. And we need to be able to retain those young people. Now the youth demographic in Jacksonville overwhelmingly supports this bill and overwhelmingly does not support a policy of exclusion. I work with young people every day, and I can promise you that. So we need to retain our young people by operating in the 21st century.
Yeah!
Number two, in addition to retaining our young folks, we need to be able to recruit the best and brightest young hires. Now, I'm a transplant to Jacksonville, and I'm very thankful that I made the move here, but young people are not going to move here if we are not operating in the 21st century. Finally, a Jacksonville where all are welcome to live and do business is a better Jacksonville for it, and will further bolster our image as a rising star among cities. So together, let's move Jacksonville forward, and let's reach out to City Council, call them, write them, email them, and urge a yes vote on 296. Thank you.
People. So when I heard the hatred and the mean speech that was coming out of the halls of government, the leaders of this community, I called a good friend of mine. I said, how do I get in this fight? Sign me up. Sign me up. And he connected me to Dr. Tom Sawaka. I said, look, I'm a young, black, straight man that loves equality. Is there a room for me? Is there a space for me at the table? Tom said, damn right there is. I said, I'm here to fight in solidarity with my brothers and sisters. It's simple. If option A is extending liberty and option B is restricting liberty, we have to choose option A every time. Every time we have to choose to expand liberty and not restrict it. That's who we are. And this isn't going to be the last equality debate in this country. There's going to come another issue, but it will boil down to the same thing. Option A, which is expanding freedom. Option B, which is limiting it. And we've got to be a community that chooses A little quicker. It's not that hard. It's not that difficult. That's who Jacksonville is. If we're going to be a competitive, we're going to be a city that's relevant in the 21st century, we've got to get past this. We are a beautiful community because of the diversity of the community. When are we going to learn that diversity is a strength? It's a strength. Genetics says that the way you survive is if you have a variated, diverse genetic code. It's the key to survival, not only in nature, but in Jacksonville, Florida. So I will celebrate in solidarity on Wednesday when we say yes to equality, yes to equality, yes to equality.
Watching Jacksonville right now.
The whole country is watching, and the entire state is watching what is happening in Jacksonville right now. As you know, you're the largest city on planet Earth, so what you do here will have ripple effects, not just across Florida, but across the country as well. And people are watching. They were watching via the internet as people, their voices trembling, their hands trembling, stepped forward and told their stories with no guarantee that when they were done, the City Council would do the right thing and extend protections. And to all of you who stepped up and raised your voices and told the truth about your life, I'm here to honor you and to thank you for that courage.
Yeah.
This has been an incredible coalition. There are a lot of people here who've been part of the Jacksonville Committee for Equality. Equality Florida is proud to be a part of that. I do want to just do a shout out to several people who have been in this leadership from the beginning when we made the commitment that we would fight for equality for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community. And those folks are Jimmy Midyett, Cindy Watson, Tom Serwatka, Dan Merkin, Carrie Kidder. There are others, but these are the folks who've been there day in and day out fighting and fighting and fighting. Jacksonville, when I say everybody's watching, you all are doing something here that the rest of the state is paying attention to. And understand, Florida's at this amazing moment, this tipping point moment. More than half of us who live in Florida live in places that already have the protections that you're seeking here in Jacksonville and have had them for a while. Most of the students who go to school in Florida go to school in districts where anti-bullying policies include sexual orientation and gender identity. And to have Jacksonville join those ranks is huge. But to have Jacksonville join those ranks because the business community stood up and said, this is the smart thing to do, and it's the right thing to do, and we are going to put our money where our mouths are and stand with you, has made all of the difference in the world in this fight. And Audrey Moran and John Delaney have been absolute heroes. Absolute heroes. And there are other people who will maybe never take a bow, who've been fighting for full equality for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community. And I want to end with this. We began this fight with all four letters, L, G, B, and T. Equality Florida has an absolute, unshakable commitment to the L, G, B, and T, and that will never, ever stop. We continue right now to push Jacksonville to do the right thing, to be fully inclusive. And I'll leave you with this. In Tallahassee, when we were fighting for an anti-bullying bill, we brought together this great coalition, and it had the PTA, and it had Girls and Boys Clubs, and Planned Parenthood, and it had the NAACP. It had tons of organizations standing with us to amend Florida law to include a statewide anti-bullying policy. And each time we would lobby in Tallahassee, some member of our coalition would be pulled into a room and told, you know, if you just get rid of sexual orientation and gender identity, this thing's going to sail right through. They would pull them aside and they would say, just jettison that and it'll sail right through. And our coalition stood strong. In those rooms, they stood with us.
All right.
And right now, what we have to understand is Wednesday is not the end of this fight. It's the beginning of it. We will leave no one behind. That has to be the commitment that comes out of this